All right, we're live. Jared, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
Dude,
I'm
I'm
doing
so
really
happy to
well.
have you. We've been wanting to do a webinar with you for a long time, and Summit was just the perfect time to get it in there and chat with you. So, thanks for hopping
Yeah,
on.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And you were promoting us like crazy, so I appreciate you getting the word out about the summit and everything. It's gonna be a fun day. I've got my jug here. I showed this on the other one, but this is called 8 hours of live streaming coming up, and you got to stay hydrated, right? So
Absolutely.
it's taking
Absolutely.
me back to fifth grade football practice. Water never tasted so good. Um, so we got short sessions, Jared. We got 30 minutes with you, man, and
Okay.
we're gonna dive deep on really, you've made it. I mean, we've been working with you a few months now, and you've made a pretty big change in your business. But I would like maybe to kick this off to introduce you a little bit. Tell us a little bit. Where's your business at now, and what's your goal going into 2021? What are you hoping to do, in this next year or 15 months?
Yeah. So we kind of got some big goals based upon what we've done in the last 6 months using our systems and stuff. So right
Mm-hmm.
now we're about 76 deals closed. GCI, we're a little over 2 million in GCI. We have so a little bit about us is we have a development side of our company and a real estate side. So my wife is a master at developing, projects, and so she's brings in a lot of the house sales and stuff for us, and so we're kind of grateful to have those development projects going on. But in 2021 is where we picked up a lot of that, or
Okay.
2020 is where we picked up a lot of the momentum. And so my hope is our goal is to do about 200 to 250 deals next year. We're kind
Very
of
cool.
dialing that down right now. But yeah, I'm hoping to hit about 100 this year.
Nice. Um, you, so I know you have an amazing coach, right? Which is Debbie over
Yeah.
at Tom Ferry, right? And
Yeah. Super, super blessed and
yeah,
grateful.
yeah, that's a good coach right there. You and I had a conversation a little while back about this, and the topic of this session right now is what a team rebuild looks like. And sometimes you got to slow down a little bit so that you can go fast. And with all the teams I've been working at, I've just happened to notice that you guys have done an amazing job in your rebuild, and I mean, now you're just cruising. So maybe you can talk us through a little bit your conversation with Debbie and what that rebuild has looked like so far, or why it started in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first started, I actually my background's electrical engineering, and I
Okay.
managed a field service team. So the Western United States, I managed, and my job was to do the and manage the workflow on how customers called in through tech support, when it was dispatched, how it was handled, how our paperwork was closed. And the biggest thing that frustrated me is there was a system for everything. I mean, even in a big, we were a Fortune 100 company. We had 5 different systems to do our job. And so when I finally took the leap and went into real estate, the one thing I wanted to kind of do that I didn't do so well at the beginning because I was so involved in like just getting the transactions is I got stuck in this hole where I realized I was in the same place as my corporate job, where we had like 5 different systems, nothing's talking to each other, no one's making anything happen. And there was a lot of frustration within the team that I had. And when we decided to get on with Tom Ferry coaching, and well, we've always been with Tom Ferry coaching, but we decided to take the leap and do the Team Plus. Team Plus allows not only to continue our coaching, but to give my teammates the same exact coaching that I get. And what ended up happening is when Debbie started analyzing our team and going over our numbers, I mean, she read me like a book and said, Jared, the tail is wagging the dog right now and it needs to stop.
I remember
And
you telling me that exact line. I was like, man,
yeah,
yeah, I love it.
and I had a hard time admitting that, but the reality is every single time a team member had a commission, or every single, like, I had team members on different commission splits and different negotiations, and it was always like, what's in it for me? And it kind of destroyed what I felt my worth of my team was, and what I was providing to, what I feel, to bring members onto my team and know that I'm providing a package and an environment that's going to make them kick butt. And it really destroyed. And so you're right. Like when Debbie told me that, she said, we're going to get through this. We're going to make it happen. And it's going to be hard, but I mean, you guys have what it takes to make it happen. So we ended up making a big change and changing everybody.
So was that the hard part? Was it personnel changes? I mean, what were some of those hard things that you had to do?
So I'm kind of a guy I had a hard time accepting the fact that somebody could do it better than me, or like I have a hard time letting go of like the marketing, the training, the office management. And she's like, you need to hire an office manager now. Like, so next week I'll see. I mean, that's what I love about Debbie, is she's no nonsense. We got 30 minutes of coaching. She jumps right in. She's like, I'm going to send you a bunch of job descriptions, and I want you to have this posted. And by next week, I hope, we need to have some interviews talking about.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's hard about that is you feel like you're slowing down in the moment, right? The fact that you bring in this person and you got to train them on this, that, and the other thing. And it's just that whole concept of you got to slow down a little bit so you go fast again, right?
Yeah, 100%. But it was really good. I was so nervous about that, but once I hired the right office manager and took my time doing it, instead of just getting a referral from a family saying my friend's looking for an agent or something like that, and I actually went through the interview process like I would in the corporate world, and really vetted those people. I mean, I've got somebody that I feel like I could work with for the rest of my career.
Nice. That's awesome. Was there anything in that interview process, any questions maybe, or things that you did that you think helped you vet and find the right person? Or was it just getting more interviews and talking to more people?
So I did interview quite a bit. I did have a lot of questions to ask, and a lot of it was based upon their success and their drive. Like, what's driving them to be in real estate? I mean, if they are such, incredible people, like that they're interviewing for office managers, like things kept popping in my head as, why aren't they selling? Why aren't they, because this is a salaried position, with some bonuses and stuff. I mean, what's bringing people to do this versus get out there and, sell 50 homes in a year and, crush that salary type of thing. So there was a lot of questions that came up about their drive and their ambitions and what they wanted to see in their future, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. Like I want to see I want to see them have some goals in their mind, whether they're personal or business. I think that's important to really register and see what somebody's drive really is.
Yep. How worried were you about being real estate specific, hiring in real estate versus looking at other industries, other backgrounds?
For me, I was pretty specific about that because I needed the extra help. I personally was managing a team, trying to build the team, and I was also handling about 7 to 10 transactions a month. And I needed somebody else to offload some of that burden quickly. And I felt if I could at least eliminate the knowledge of the real estate world, then I, could get that training going faster.
Very cool. Well, cool, man. So you get this office manager in place, and that sounds like that was part of the core of your rebuild. I mean, what else happened from there? Was it just documenting and processing everything out, or how did all of that go?
Yeah. So after that, I mean, the thing I liked about Debbie, it was a very structured rebuild on stuff. Okay, next thing you know, she even spent some time with my office manager and says, hire her. You know,
Nice.
she was
You
that good
actually,
about.
you actually got the Debbie stamp of approval
I
before
did.
that. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I love about the coaching, and just they really care about what we're doing. But after we got that done, um, we probably spent a week and a half building our policies and procedures. What does our company look like? What do we want to see happen? What is our vision? What do we stand for? Like things that I never really, I guess, that were in my heart and like what I really wanted to see as a company, but I never put it down on paper. I never said, this is what my company does, and this is what we stand for, and this is who we are. And so we built those policies and procedures, which I really took as a lot of busy work at the beginning, but I realize how important those are, especially to maintain a structure, to maintain a discipline with the agents, to maintain my expectations of,
Mhm.
look, if you're going to be on this team, you can be very successful, but this is what's required to be here.
Right. Very
So
cool.
it helped me define the agents I wanted on my team.
Yep. And so then taking that into recruiting, I mean, there was a question here, how many agents do you have? I think you mentioned at the beginning you're up to what, 13 agents now?
Yeah, I
Is
just
that, is
hired.
that more than you had before?
Yeah, I was actually only running about 4 agents before.
Okay.
I was running 10 for the last couple months. I just hired 3 more, and I've got 1 more coming on next week. So I'll have 14 total by the end of October.
Very cool. What do you feel like has made, I mean, obviously maybe you're more focused on recruiting now, or maybe it's just easier to recruit with some of these new things in place. But I mean, do you have any insight on that as far as how this has changed the way and how easily you recruit?
Yeah. So I mean, again, the recruiting. I mean, I can't say enough about what Debbie has done for us. But I built a couple Facebook mastermind groups. I started offering those specifically within Utah about having agents, providing them with the help of like how to succeed and giving them a tip each week. And the followers just kept coming, and it just the recruiting got pretty easy, even to the point where I didn't actually say, hey, we're hiring. I just provided the value to the point where agents were coming to us asking if I was looking for team members.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. I had a question here. What part of the country? How big's your metro area? We are what, Salt Lake? You're South Salt Lake or Provo?
Yeah. So we're based out of American Fork, Utah. Anybody that knows Utah is, I mean, it all kind of 80% of the population blends within that Wasatch Front bowl. And so we don't do a lot of the northern stuff, but Salt Lake and Utah County is where a lot of our transactions are.
Very cool.
Everything else north, we try to pass off to a referral partner.
Yeah. You don't like us up north, huh? That's where I am.
It's just a long drive, and somebody up there would be more effective than I would be. And so
Yeah.
I'm 100% like, it's not about like I got to take that job. I got to take that job. And if I know I have a good client that I want to take care of for the rest of their life, as in investing in real estate or purchasing and selling their primary residence, I want to make sure they're taken care of, and I can't give them that, give them that level of service that I feel like I need to give somebody if I'm driving an hour and a half to sell them a home. I'd rather give I don't even know the area enough to say, this is my opinion on things. I'd rather give them to somebody that I know is going to take care of them and knows the area better than I do.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So switching gears a little bit here. Part of what we talked about was you're going to come in, you're going to restructure your team. You're going to put in all these systems in place. Now, systemization a lot of times is a tough line, because if you put all these crazy processes and systems in place, well, now everyone feels like it's slowing them down, right? And you're talking salespeople that they're really, their main focus is let's go get the next sale. So what are some things? I wanted to talk systems a little bit. I wanted to talk about how you've maybe navigated that, right? Not getting system fatigue and not getting process fatigue.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is what I love the most, especially with the engineering background. I'm an operator at heart. I love building. And so when I restructured the team, I know this was something I was looking into, and I needed something. I had a good CRM. I had a CRM that I felt could take us, for the next 5 years, 10 years down the road, and see where technology takes us from there. But I felt like I had a good CRM in place. But the problem I started facing and this goes back to my career as a Western service manager, is I didn't want to keep going from one system to another system. And I saw that very notoriously within the real estate market when I got here, that everybody was looking for the next thing that was going to make their life easier. But the problem is they'd have like 5 to 7 of these new systems, piling up. So the bills pile up, and then the system fatigue piles up.
Yeah.
And so, and that's, when we started using Sisu, from an analytical standpoint, I was like, holy cow, this is like, I'll no longer have to ask when Debbie says, what are your numbers, or what are your goals? Like, I'll never have to dig for that or prepare myself anymore. Before, it was like, I'd have to like really prepare and get those numbers down. And with Sisu, it's just, boom, everything is right there for me. It's right there for her. And then when you guys launched the transaction beta stuff, I was all over that. Me and my office manager spent a good 2 weeks building out our checklist. And
I actually remember working
organizing. With you. Yeah, and like we built out our training manuals that included, training with Sisu and stuff. And, we sent it to you for feedback. And I really loved, like how Sisu was able to kind of not only encompass a lot of the things that came with analyzing our business, analyzing our lead pillars, tracking our leads, tracking our, just all the way from the tracking from the conversations to what lead pillars are producing what, and where should we be spending more of our time. And then to add the transaction coordinating onto that, which, it has been a build out, but I know, and it was a beta, and it's getting better and better. And it's just amazing because it all just syncs and flows together. Like, the process is very, very simple.
We're getting questions about CRM too. And I think that's a big part of it, because, for a lot of people on here don't know what Sisu is. Sisu is a lot of transaction management. It's a lot of numbers tracking, but the actions actually for you're running Sierra Interactive, right? And maybe you could walk into how those two kind of work together.
Yeah. So when we use Sierra Interactive, tags are very important to us. That's how we search clients. That's how we track clients. So, we tag them, and we've been tagging them before we even met Sisu, and it all just kind of meshed together when it was, hey, conversation has been set. Conversation's been met. Buyer broker's been signed. Like all those tags. I need to know where my clients are, what my agents are doing, and I need to know that at a glance. If I'm going to manage them and lead them properly, and we're going to be successful as a team, they're coming to me for the accountability and for the expertise. And if I can't have that at my disposal to help them and, manage and, kind of guide them in a direction, then I'm not really helping them succeed. And so, the Sisu has definitely been able to help me not only integrate, and that's what Sierra Interactive definitely, it was just speaking the same language. Like, hey, we're tracking these things off of tags. We're, getting that data from one system and then transferring it over to the other system. And so it all just works like seamlessly. One of the biggest things for me when I analyzed, like, okay, here's my team, here's what we're doing, is how does, what are the pain points? Just like we would do with a client, right? What are the pain points, and how can I take those pain points or lessen them or soften them or take them away from my clients to make their home buying experience better? I use that same concept with my agents. What's their pain points? What do they hate doing? What's bringing them stress? What's going to make them a happier agent? So most agents hate paperwork, from what I gathered together, because their sales personality can be very artistic, and
Yep.
a lot of the structure is very daunting to them. So if I can take that paperwork off their hand, if I can provide them a structure, like, look, all you have to do is simply give me that Rep C, put it into CSU, send it off to the manager and TC, boom, you're done from there. All you have to do is nurture and maintain your client's happiness, and we'll take care of the contract to close. And all the way from, and so when that couples with Sierra Interactive, it kind of just flows right through Sierra from the nurture process. And then once it gets under to under contract, that's usually where the CRMs kind of, take a back seat in a sense. But the process carries right into CSU seamlessly. And so my clients have an experience, and so do my agents, from contract to close with the transaction.
I love it. I think one of the big things when we're talking about this topic, which is how do you systematize without hurting productivity, right? If you can go to your agents and say, look, there's this one thing that needs to happen in Nancy, Sierra Interactive. I'll drop that. This is the CRM. So Jared uses Sierra Interactive. And when you can tell your agent, Sierra, or whatever CRM it is, hey, when you set an appointment, there's this one tag that you got to add. That's the thing that you do when this lead gets from this stage to the next, right? And the more that can happen in the CRM, usually the better, because salespeople, that's where their leads are. That's where they're calling out of. That's where they make business happen. And so if it can be, hey, do this one thing in Sierra Interactive or in whatever CRM you're using, that's how I'm going to hold you accountable. That's how we're going to kick off this process and that process. That's powerful, right? And now you're speaking a salesperson language where it's like, all right, I just got to do this one thing. And I know in your case, you've got these leaderboards too that show when you do those things. So it gamifies it a little bit. So that can
it does. And we love turning it into a competition and a fun environment, because if it's not in Sierra Interactive, it doesn't exist.
Yep.
Type of thing. And if you want us to be doing your transaction work, and you want us to be, keeping that paperwork on task and keeping everybody communicated with, if you don't put it into Sierra, then I don't know how I can help you. Type of thing. So we really push. That's my one requirements is you have to use the systems. If you don't use them, I don't know how to help you. Because you're the expert when it comes to the sales and converting the clients. If you're looking for my help on the transaction side and the leadership side and the coaching side, a lot of that comes through data, and and being able to talk to you from an accountability standpoint, and these are our goals. This is how many conversations you made. This is how many appointments you went on. I mean, if that's not happening, then it's hard for me to, really, narrow down how to make you successful as an agent.
Yeah. Love it, man. Well, this is all good stuff. I think a lot of people listening, building teams, and there's always moments where in any business, right? Moments where you've got to pivot, you've got to make changes, and you've got to revamp your processes, right? So,
well, that happened for us in 2020. Business plan was done, and we were ready to rock January and come into February, and next thing you know, Tom Ferry's talking to us and saying, "Throw out your business plans. It's time for we're focusing on 90 days at a time right now."
Yeah.
And you have to be able to pivot, and that was so important. And I think a lot of our success this year is being able to, throw out the business plan and reevaluate what's happening and how we can serve the communities.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, anything else you want to throw in there? Any fun facts about your rebuild business? Maybe something you're excited about going into 2021 before we let you go?
Yeah. So, and I know it's something, please feel free to follow us and stuff, but we just purchased our first, it's actually kind of funny, as I'm a team within a brokerage, and I just purchased a 5,000 square foot building that we are making it a very fun, sexy place to, like it's glass,
Oh yeah.
offices, very nice looking. But I've got some really cool things that we're doing in that office. And I actually hired one of the best graffiti artists in the world, painting the side of the building. I said, I don't care what you do. I just want it to be tasteful, and I want it to be a landmark in Utah County. And so I'm really excited to document that process and stuff. So if you guys like creative things like that, that's kind of unique about us is I love art. I love things like graffiti and things like that really kind of bring attention to things. So I don't know, just a unique thing about me and what we got going on. So
it gives you a little style points on your recruiting too, right?
Yeah.
I think.
And if you're ever in Utah,
yeah,
hit me up. We'll go snowboarding or mountain biking or boating, depending on the season. I'm all about, adding some work and play at the same time.
Yeah, man, I love it. Well, cool. So to recap here, last year, obviously everything goes haywire. You start going through this rebuild. You're at 4 agents. Debbie, your Tom Ferry coach, who's amazing, says, "Look, what'd she say? The tail's wagging the dog here. We got to make some changes."
Tail's wagging the dog. I'll never forget that.
You go through this rebuild process. You slow down so that you can go fast. You start putting in all these processes. And for you, it was Sierra Interactive, Sisu, a lot of automation happening between those that, you have these amazing processes, but you're able to avoid a little bit of the system fatigue that can happen and the process fatigue that can happen. And now you're building a super cool office. So
yeah, we're
awesome.
excited for everything.
Yeah.
I'm excited for 2021 for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Well, cool, Jared. I think we were able to cover a lot here in those 30 minutes. We got our next speaker coming on, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for joining us, and
it was a pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you
for promoting everything. You've been great to work with. So we'll be in touch. I'm going to let you off here. I'm going to bring Brandon on.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, we'll see you, Jared.